Alright, hello. This is Dylan, Ivory, whatever the hell you want to call me. I did a project on gay representation. Sorry, that's my mic rubbing on my keyboard. Sorry about that. Give me a second. Or at least the cord. Uh, yeah, so I did this just now, kinda. I mean, it was due. 15, 16 minutes ago, and I did it late. Yeah, I did it late. Mainly due to a mixture of OBS being a fucking piece of shit and the fact that I was working for the past couple of months while trying to secure, my place to stay. If I don't work, I can't live here, and I was trying to get backup places just in case I lose my job ever. Which, I mean, when I get fired, or not fired, but when they let me go is coming up soon after the holiday season. And then after that, if I don't have a job lined up, I'm out the house. So, and I'm not going back to my dorm because if I stay with family or friends, I can't get COVID, so I cannot go there. You know what I mean? I can't go back to the dorm even with the shit they're giving us. So this is more of a thing for anyone that wants to hear it. Other than that, I will be doing a full talk about gay representation because I wrote a fucking essay to prepare for this, and I'm going to read it, or at least most of it. Enough. I don't think any of you care, but this is more for me than it is for you. You know. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna read this word for word by the fucking way. So have fun with that. I'm not gonna show it on screen. So this is about toxic representation in gay media, and like for those that wonder why I want to talk about this so much, I am bisexual. I think I still don't know to this day. I this is me letting some shit out. I don't know if I know I like girls in the sexual sense, and I have only pictured. I've been in relationships before, no doubt. I've been too many. I've been in like double digits because I'm bad at keeping people around. You know what I mean? And it's like when it came to girls, when I'm in a like romantic relationship with them, it, I don't know if it's like a lack of control or something, but whenever they do something to me, I don't feel comfortable with it. Not at all. Not whatsoever. Like you can kiss me on the cheek and my body will shut down and I do not want to be near you. But if it's something sexual, I'm 100% all for it. And I hate that, but that's more on that's more for a I hate myself video than anything else, which is Gucci. It's great, I guess. Fuck my life. If you hear like that flicking in the background, that's my fucking heat, and I want to turn it off because it's annoying as shit. And my mic is like my desk is like right next to the fucking heater, so I apologize if you hear this during that. It's gonna be really fucking loud, and I apologize. And for my teacher, if you see this, or if you listen to this, I don't know if you will, you probably won't, because it's a waste of your time, and all honesty. I'm sorry I didn't do a lot of work in your class. It's just, I've been going through shit that I don't want to talk to you about because it'll sound like a fucking excuse. And I don't like having my shit sound like excuses. So, I'm just gonna not tell you, and you can think that I'm a bad student. And I'll be okay with that. Because I don't like pulling like pity card shit, and I have a lot of stuff I could throw at you to give you pity, or at least get some sympathy of some kind. But I'm not because that's fucking gay as hell. Ha! Yep, I can say that I'm toxic. So yeah, I'm not like to get more into my sexuality and the reason why I enjoy this. I'm not into uh, I I've only seen one girl like that. If you know what I mean, I haven't even dated her at all. She was interested in me, and I kind of ignored it. So I'm more in the line of I really, 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 really hate not hate. I don't know. I haven't found myself in that sense with women at least. With guys, 100%. Romantic, sexual, definitely. People say that I'm aromantic. But no, with guys, I'm down for whatever. If it's romantic, I'm down. I'm down for PPA. I'm down for you kissing me and everything. But other than that, I just can't handle it. If that makes sense. With girls, I don't know. Yeah. But when I was younger, I found this out in third grade, and I've been going with the representation I've seen. I'm gonna not just go into what I have here, but I'm gonna go into what I didn't write down. Which is why, if you see this teach, my presentation was a bit weird because I had a thing written out. And I was like, yo, I wrote this whole shit out. It's totally gonna work, I guess. I don't know. But, with how I was when I was younger, I couldn't find anything gay. And my family is heavily homophobic. We are from Jamaica. They're a Christian family to the core. Not hardcore for most, but for the older crowd, oh hell yeah. My mom told me to my face that she'd kick me out the house if she found out that I'm gay. And I'm happy that she's mellowed out now, or I wouldn't be here. So, that was when I was in first grade, by the way. In first grade, she told me that she'd kick me out if I was gay. So, you see what I've been dealing with? Um, but I grew up with yaoi as my major thing. And if you don't know what that is, I'm gonna flat out tell you, it's borderline, it is porn. It is anime boys with weird proportions. It is stuff for women to get off to. And that's what I grew up with because that's all I could find on YouTube. That was good gay representation. One of my favorite gay YouTubers at the time was a fucking porn star, and I didn't even know what a porn star. I didn't even know what porn was, dude. I was in third grade, but I was exposing myself to this shit, so I had a warped sense of everything. So like, when it comes to shit like this, I cannot stand it. I can't. I hate it. It's so dumb. I could speak on the lesbian aspect and everything, but I don't understand that because I am not lesbian. I like girls, but not in that sense. And I watch a lot of lesbian media because it doesn't interest me. In all honesty, I'm not saying like, oh, kill the lesbians, gays for life or whatever. I'm not one for, if you know what shoujo ai is, or yuri, girls love in general. I'm not one for girls love. I'll read it. I even have an anthology in my room that I brought when I was in my dorm. I have an anthology. There was a lot of weird shit in it from time to time. It wasn't porn, by the way. Uh, right from a comic book store. Sorry. And I enjoyed it. It was really good. Sorry that I'm taking so long. I just want to give you context about who I am so you understand why I wrote this and why I wrote it the way I fucking did. This is 100% better than my fucking presentation for the project. For if anyone sees this, I'm probably gonna like edit the video and then link this in there for you to listen to because, in my opinion, it's way fucking better than that because I mean it's a project and I'm under time constraints and like it is the way it is. Whatever, but yeah. So let me actually get into serious mode. Three, two, one. Yo. Imagine that you're watching a show that you and your friends are very passionate about. One that, although you hadn't watched the original, managed to catch your attention with its first reboot. There's one character, the stoic leader, both good at combat and charismatic. You watched and learned about this character in this reboot, and when the show was rebooted again, you were excited. Then, near the end of season 7, the character you experienced hardship after hardship with is given a boyfriend out of the blue. You're confused because there were no hints about this in the show. You look around and find a YouTube video or two that talks about it, and you start to understand a bit. Yet you wonder, wait, what? Why did they do this when there was no lead up to such a reveal? You throw away your confusion for a while, just happy that there's another gay character out there. Then you watch the next season, hoping for something, anything, that would show an actual relationship. Uh, The character shows up for episode 1, disappears, and is killed off in episode 8. Then you get mad because you assume they did this as a sort of stunt to get more people to watch the next season. You feel like you've been baited. This feeling is what happens to most homosexual teens when they want to see representation in a show. Their feelings are stomped on, and when they go looking for something else, then they find content that either fills itself with fan service without representing issues properly, or perverse material that represents horrid relationships. These things lead to representation going backwards instead of forwards, as these mislead an audience of people desperate to see someone like them. The show reference was Voltron Legendary Defender, whose fans assumed that the stunt was another classic act of queerbaiting. You see, queerbaiting is a tactic used to attract a queer audience using the hint of relationships that relate to them, while still avoiding the actualization of these hints so they won't alienate other consumers. In simpler terms, for people like me out there, the powers that be use LGBTQ characters and relationships as bait in order to appeal to the gay dollar in queer views without actually following through. And this was written by Mitchell in 2018. I will have like a little thing showing all my sources. This usually leads to fans that want to see something they can relate to in terms of their sexuality being thrown to the side. There's a reason why the bury your gays trope exists in our media. This trope, where gay characters are seen as more expendable in comparison to their heterosexual counterparts, leads to homosexual characters dying for no perceived reason, while the cast of normal characters is perfectly fine. In the case of the previous example, the character that died, Adam, had only been introduced for one episode, and then his next appearance, episode 8, was killed off. As such, one would obviously assume this was another bury your gays moment, that they can just kill someone off who served his purpose in getting more people to watch the show for a while, and be forgotten as soon as he isn't needed. Another example of a show queerbaiting its audience is the show Teen Wolf. In the show, the main character, Stiles Stilinski, and another character, Derek Hale, start to warm up to each other as characters do after being together, platonically, after a long period of time. In the show, these two characters had an increasing amount of homoerotic tension being shown. Things like weird, unnecessary touches, prolonged stares, and other forms of body language conveying some form of interest, yet nothing happened. No romance was garnered from this at all. This show had used this pairing and the fandom that resulted to get more viewers. They even made a video where the actors that had played these characters were being abnormally comfortable, arms around each other and the like while on a ship. To those that don't understand what this means for fans, a quick explanation. A ship, which stems from the word relationship, is the desire for two characters to be in a romantic relationship. This desire is expressed by the fans of whatever show, book, etc. that fictional characters are present. So, this also includes characters IRL, but we're not getting into in real life queerbaiting because that's not really a fuck. It is a thing. If you want, this is outside of the essay. As a side note, if you want an example, go look up Dream X George on YouTube. Those guys are Minecraft YouTubers, and I think they're kind of baiting, but I can't be sure because they haven't said anything as far as I know. Back to the thing. So, with this not so clever nod at the ship, one would assume something would happen, right? Well, as stated before, nothing did happen. One of the actors even stated that the people that wanted it to occur isn't watching the show for the right reasons. People may assume that these fans aren't watching the show for the right reasons, that they're just watching it so their fantasy can be canon. This argument brings up how sick the people that want these things can be, which is true. There are some people that want people in a form of media to be gay just for the sake of them being gay. They want their fantasy to be real. They feel that every group of friends that has two guys or girls that hang out must date with an, oh my god, they touched hands for 2 seconds. They must have feelings for each other. Sorry. However, this doesn't represent everyone. There's always an exception, and since LGBT people are a minority, those that feel that like those listed above are an even smaller minority. They may seem large, but that's only because they're very vocal. The other argument that surrounds queerbaiting is that these shows are run by companies, and the shows need to get as much viewership as they can. If they don't, the companies will cancel them, so this tactic is 100% necessary. And this is understandable, since keeping the show running is their livelihood, which leads to many shows being forced to do something like this to get both good PR and more people watching. The PR part is just another reason why people will still do this as well. It brings in more viewers who think that showrunners are becoming more progressive, and it baits others into this as well. It helps convince investors that the show's worth it, which in turn helps the company that backs these shows grow. This might lead to a new season and more quote-unquote representation without losing any of their other viewers. Although this is understandable, it doesn't mean it's right. Continuing this cycle is unacceptable no matter how necessary it is. The attitude that they have when backlash occurs is also something to write home about. For instance, this quote from one of the showrunners from Voltron Legendary Defender. Quote, he said that the show had anticipated emotional responses to the new character being killed off, but not in the way that it happened. We knew people would be affected by the loss of Adam. We just could not have predicted how profound that loss would be, wrote Dos Santos. This was an article written by Jackman in 2018. They don't expect any backlash from people who've had enough of being used like this. When it does arrive, they're confused and then place the blame on those watching for having that assumption. Even with things like queerbaiting, there are good examples of representation that can be seen. These are fewer in number than most would like to admit, but they're still present in media. One example is the adaptation of a comic with the same name, My Brother's Husband. It is a story about a man named Yaichi suddenly having his deceased brother's husband live with him. The husband, Mike Flanagan, is in Japan so he can visit the places his husband told him about prior to his death. It shows the concerns and problems most people have when they interact with someone gay for the first time in a real way. Yaichi wonders if Mike will hit on him, if his reaction to his brother coming out pushed him away, and if other parents throw out their children because of their sexuality, would he do the same? This situation adds to Yaichi's understanding of non-hetero relationships and helps him become less bigoted towards Mike. Even though there are things like this comic, some things never change. There are individuals that will ask, what is the difference between this and what has been mentioned before? Why does this even matter? Shouldn't they be happy that they're getting a show in at least some capacity? For the first argument, My Brother's Husband handles its topics in a very mature way. Characters will sit down and talk about what's going on and what they're dealing with. Also, since we're seeing this through Yaichi's lens, we also get to see him realize that things aren't always sunshine and roses for people that come out. It informs and gives representation without romance being the main focus. Gay people are regular human beings, after all. Liking someone different can't change that. This is a side note, there's another one as well, and it's an anime, called Dokusei. Dokusei is really good as well, because it does go over similar things like this, but it's teen love at its heart. And it's between two guys that wonder, shit, what would happen if we hold hands in public? What if we kiss? How would people react to that? You know? Things like that. There needs to be more stuff like that. Not even just in the sense of talking about gay issues, but more things that give someone some form of role model, and that's what we'll get into now. Some representation. Uh, Here's a quote. This quote easily explains the reasons why this matters and why queerbaiting is such an issue. Most lesbians and gay men grow up in a straight community with few gay role models. Thus, they are particularly vulnerable to the portrayals of gay people in mass media. This is a thing written by Fayez and Petrick in 1993, and Ryan and Futterman in 1998. They all worked together. Fisher. But though it's a quote from a thing by Fisher, Hill, Gruber, and Gruber. Uh, it's obvious that people would be attracted to things that are like them, something to relate to, someone that, even though they are fictional, has gone through similar experiences you have, and can help them get through some dark times. In the end, queerbaiting will still continue, and gay individuals will still be milked for everything they hold. They will continue to blame those that just want to see someone like them on the screen, instead of a sea of people considered normal. It has to continue, because if they don't, many individuals might lose their jobs. It has created another slot for executives to tell the creators to fill, leaving both the consumer and the producer unhappy. Yet, even though this horrid cycle exists, there's hope. There are works out there that give proper representation without marginalizing gays. Works that try to show the problems they face because they're different. So it might not be too bad. But do you think it should continue? Should we queerbait in order to keep our jobs and appeal to a wider audience? Should we just leave this to those like the writer of My Brother's Husband while still doing things like Teen Wolf? Or should we resolve to find a compromise that might not yet exist? That's the note we'll end on, however, because if this could at least shift your views a little or give you new insight, that'd be enough for me. And that's basically it. That is what I consider something really good, near and dear to my heart. My magnum opus, probably, because shit, man, this is more of an anecdote or a thing for anyone still listening at all. I have an argument for yaoi as well. My friends usually give me shit for this because, oh my god, you're talking about gay porn and shit. It is pornographic content, and you might sound weird for me saying this, but I mean, like, my issue with yaoi, when I put this in particular, toxic gay quote-unquote relationships. By those relationships, I do mean yaoi. That is what I'm referencing, because with it, you have a lot of sexual violence, a lot of abuse and sexual violence, and it's treated as cute, as socially seductive, and it sickens me that there might be another kid out there like myself when I was young who, in a desperate attempt to find anything like themselves, anything to give them hope, if you know what I mean, that's what they find. And it will corrupt them. I mean, I'm a degenerate, dude. Like, the people I hang out with, the shit we talk about sometimes, it's terrible. I'm a toxic person. I'm a degenerate. But I learned this degeneracy from the places of the internet I went to keep finding this material, to keep finding my representation. And it's like, I look back on it, it sucks, dude. Like, if I could stop myself, I would. But there's a part of me that doesn't want to because of writing this. At least, I hope it'll get out there, you know? Like, enough to help someone, at least inform someone. There's a shit ton of YouTube videos. There's a shit ton of things about it, and it sucks. And like the way some women treated hurts. Like one issue that I have with yaoi, and this is like the base, not even like the baseline. This is like just a nitpick. Not even nitpick. This is just really dumb to me. It's in yaoi there are two roles per se. There's the uke and the seme, and for those of you that I'm gonna list as normies, and uke is considered a bottom in the relationship. They're very meek, very effeminate, very submissive, passive. Not all the time, but that's most of the time. But they are the bottom in the bedroom. The seme is the opposite. They're usually tall, imposing, stronger. They're the one that inflicts violence while the uke receives the violence. And it's like they put them in these two roles that are basically male and female, with the uke being female and seme being male. And it's like, don't you look at a gay like, isn't the whole thing of a gay relationship that's two dudes and there's no power dynamics like that? But okay. That's just the thing that I have personally. That's just my personal thing. Sorry if I sound different, by the way. My mic's farther away from me. It's on my stand now. Uh, Instead of being like right up to my fucking lips. I apologize if it annoyed you or anything. Um, the other thing is the justification for it. Because, let me believe this. I remember I saw an article that stated that article that stated that the rape, right? It's rape. The rape and sexual abuse and violence that are put in yaoi is not bad. It's not terrible because it's a way for women to take out their fears and their frustrations and put it into a thing. And I'm like, wait, so you're taking the thing you're fearing and you're putting it in something that you sexualize. Why? Because, in my opinion, even though it's fake, rape is rape, dude. Like, I don't care if it's cartoon rape or real rape. I'm still gonna be uncomfortable because it's rape. Uh, There are some things. What was it? Fucking Viewfinder? Love Finder? Whatever the hell it was? Where it's sex slavery. It's literal sex slavery. Like, the main character, to get rid of his uncle's debt from gambling, takes him and sells him to fucking gangsters. Why? What is fucking? It's like shitty. It's even shittier. Fucking 50 Shades of Grey. But at least in that, it was like consensual. Because, dude, I don't know how saying no can be sexy. Like, I know there's a thing in some works called dubious consent that's listed, but it's still fucking wrong. I don't know why girls are like, oh my god, guys, it was so hot. Oh my god, I'm fanning my face. I think I'm gonna get a nosebleed. Shut the fuck up. It is terrible, and I hate it. As a dude that likes dudes, it pains me to fucking read and watch this shit. Like, oh my god. Dude, I have friends that make this stuff, that make this content. I know of them, like, I talk to them a lot. I will fucking proofread their shit from time to time, just for the sake of, like, yo, man, can you proofread my stuff? I think, like, my typesetter did this wrong. And I'm like, cuz I got you. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do that. For, like, the translators and for other people. Or for the dudes that actually draw. Yo, is my grammar right? Sure, because I'm going to be an English teacher. So I can help with that. And I kind of can. Not all the time, but yeah. It's weird. Because you read it and you're like, dude, what is this garbage? This would never happen in real life. And I understand suspension of disbelief. I know that more than anyone because I like fantasy. I like fantasy novels the most. But it's like, holy shit, I hate it. I can't. And the whole, like, oh, it's because women are raped constantly that we will do this in order to get out our frustrations and fears about rape. Okay, so do you fear that if you rape, it will turn into, like, love? Because that's what's happening here. And note, a lot of these are underage children. Not all the time, but most. Most of them are underage. I know, like, since it's anime, in Japan, since it's set in Japan most, if not all the time, in Japan the age of consent is 13. But here, the age of consent is 18. And this is being distributed here and read here in a Western culture with Western views. And our Western views put the limit of a 1-8 as its age of consent. Maybe it's 16, maybe it's 17. No, but these kids are like fucking young as shit. I would never say this under good conscience, but if you don't know what Boku no Pico is, Google it. Don't watch it, read the wiki. Read something on Reddit talking about it and how terrible it is, because it's literal pedophilia. It is Shotacon 100%, and I fucking hate that I saw that shit on YouTube. I did not go looking for that. Oh my god, I did not go looking for that. Holy fuck. I watched it when Pewds watched it, if you want to know. If you're going to be like, oh my god, you watched whatever. No. I didn't do it on purpose. See, Pewds reacted to that shit, and I watched it. And then I went to camp, and I talked to someone about it, because it was a new fucking video. And then they're like, oh, you haven't seen the full thing? Hey, let's watch it during the bus ride to fucking Camel Beach. And I'm like, sure, whatever. And then I saw the whole thing, and I was fucking appalled. Oh, like, dude, even back then, when all I could see was Yaoi, that fucking hit me bad. I was like, nope. Get the fuck away with me. I stopped talking to that kid immediately. I stopped talking to that kid on the spot. Yeah, but That was the same kid that tried showing a bunch of people Two Girls One Cup. Actually, so yeah, he was weird. All right, now I'm happy that I stopped fucking talking to that bastard. But no, like dead ass. Sorry, I've got work and I'm tired as fuck because working retail is not the best. Well, yeah, no, like shit like that just grinds my gears, man. I hate it. I can't stand it. Like not at all. Oh my god. Like that's why I prefer Shonen Ai and never say that word in Japan. You weebs out there, never say that word because that's a word for pedophile. Never say that you like it like that because we're Western and we don't understand how another country's language works. We decided to put a thing that means pedophilia as a thing. So I'm gonna call it boys' love from now on, specifically what I'm referring to. So yeah, that also goes for shoujo, I think. So yeah, don't do that either. Just so you know, I'll call it that because this was listed my piracy site. But other than that, mm. So fuck off! I don't want to update Windows. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry for raw footage. I could edit this, but I don't want to. I'm just leaving this raw because this is my raw emotion and my vitriol and my hatred for this coming out. There's another thing that inspired this, by the way. Yeah. So I fucking hate it a lot. Like, a lot. I have a lot of shit. There's like, I think I have more. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can glorify the abuse of anyone, minors or not, and then construe that into love. Like, what is it? Caddy Papa, I think it was? I think it's Caddy Papa. That's one where a student accidentally, his senpai is an alcoholic. Not really, but kind. He drinks. And they were drinking at the student's home. And senpai, if you don't know what senpai is, that's just like someone older than you and whatever it is. So basically, it's an older student, kind of. He's sort of a teacher, but not really. Yeah, because he's an assistant. It's weird. I have to go back and watch. I haven't watched it since it first came out. I think. Shit, I haven't watched. I haven't watched like the first thing since it first came out, actually. But what's it? An OVA? It's like it's an OVA. But with it, no, that is the wrong one. The Tyrant Who Fell in Love. I'm sorry, it's not Kyrie Papa. Kyrie Papa is something completely different that I will get into. But The Tyrant Who Fell in Love is one that's bad as well. Well, that's the same one. Where, see, the student is gay, and his friend gives him, like, a bottle that's drugged. And he's like, yo, if you ever, like, it's an aphrodisiac. And he's like, shit, if you ever want to have a good time, like, ever, with anyone, here, man, take this bottle. And he was like, fuck. I'll take it. He took it, and while he went out to go buy some more alcohol, his senpai, which is how I refer to him because he's just a senpai. His senpai shows up. His senpai like rifles through his drawers while drunk, and then goes, "Oh shit, you did have alcohol, you liar!" And he chugged the whole thing. And then the student comes back, and then I don't know what would be a good word, molest or rape, but it's both. And then they fall in love. Amazing. I'm not mad at all. I'm totally not drowning in anguish here. There's how should I put this? Fuck my life. There's Kyrie Papa where there's this dude and his dad, and his dad's like really young, and his dad's like a writer, and he's like shit. I think like this guy keeps coming home with my son. He's like his friend from school, but I think he's like trying to hit on my son or have sex with my son. And then the the student sexually assaults and rapes him. and then they fall in love. Like not his son, but the dad, and then they fall in love. The dad's the uke, and the son and the friend is the seme. And then it's even better because the son falls in love with an older man, and I'm happy though because the dad finds a fucking issue with that, and they do bang. By the way, I did watch that whole series because of my fucking sister, and they do bang, and oh my god, no. Holy fuck! I remember I had that downloaded on my like I had every OVA original video animation. Yeah, yeah, original video animation. I had like each one on my iPad because I managed to find free downloads for them on like some random fucking website because I couldn't watch all of it on YouTube for free. So we just downloaded on a like shared Samsung and just watched it. And I hated it. I didn't hate it when I was a kid because I was like, "Oh my god, this is what love is like," and that was my skewed version, my skewed notion of love because I never really was into romance shit except for like the edgy emo gay love stories. That was a problem. The with like all the scene kids and shit. The yaoi. No, that was it. Those two were basically it. I was basically stuck on those. I had fucking Quotev and Wattpad to read stories from, and then that. Because anything else would have gotten me caught, and my mom would have murdered me, unironically. So, I'm being serious. Your dad probably would have killed me and or kicked me out the house somehow, and I would have died. No, and my mom is like the person where it's like, oh yeah, if I kick you out of my house, I'm not letting your grandma take you. And I was like, what? I will threaten my own mother so that she does not take you in. I will threaten you so you don't even go there. And I'm like, damn. I can't even go to my dad because my dad is even worse. My dad probably would actually just fucking murder me on the spot if he figured it out. And it sucks, man. But yeah. Sorry that you had to listen to my bullshit and my rambling. I said that this was gonna be better, but it's longer and has like my unedited thing with Yowie. So other than that, I'm gonna post this. I'm probably gonna link it into the other thing. Anyone's interested in listening to my full rambling and everything, and that's kind of it. I wanted to make it public, but I'm probably gonna make it public as well. But other than that, see you.